Mike. Oh, Matt.
Yeah, sorry, man.
What's going
My
on?
he's a little occupied, but maybe if he can get the duct tape off and you know get out of the chair with the rope, well,
Oh boy. You're gonna have the YouTube police checking on Matt.
bring it on.
Bring it on. Exactly. Thanks for filling in for Mike today. Mike,
Yeah.
I don't know what's up. Like Thanksgiving, he has family in town. What's going on with that?
Oh my
Who does
gosh.
that?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I'm in Houston.
your
Um,
family.
yeah, I could uh I could show you some nice little
You
mother-in-law
should
things.
you should slab that.
Hey, they'll slap anything these days.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. I'm working on this video where I've looked at the PSA, BGS, HGA, and SGC sales over the last year, every month trending on eBay to see like who's got market share and like which grading companies are doing better, sell through percentages, and all this stuff. And it is amazing to me how much graded stuff is out there on eBay.
Oh yeah.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I have to admit that I will be one of those guys, probably in the next month, that's going to be listing some PSA Tyler Hero rookies.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, everybody like during the bubble, that's when we're like, oh no, you got to submit, and so everybody's submitting stuff, and Hero was on, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. You're
even
right.
even I've got some MPJ rookies coming back that,
Ooh.
'cause I was thinking this dude's gonna have a great year.
I know. Don't even get me started on MPJ. It's been rough.
Yeah.
It's been rough. Yeah. Well, look, for folks that don't know who you are the magic behind the camera for a lot of what we do. You obviously put together this series called The Poll, and you do a lot of the other great video content that we do here on Bench Clear. Matt, so
Mm,
thanks for joining, filling in today.
yeah.
Um, all right, so we're gonna run through some stuff here. You're more of an NBA guy than Mike. I mean, that's not hard. I mean, Mike barely knows like the rules of the game, I feel like. But we're going to try to cover all bases today, not just basketball. Let's start with this. Did you feel like after last week's game, Cowboys Chiefs, which it's funny how Mike doesn't show up after he loses that bet, right?
Oh man.
Yeah. So he'll be flying to Montana. Did you feel like it was kind of things are starting to show themselves, the true colors of certain teams? Patrick Mahomes. What is your reaction to kind of where we are with the NFL right now?
I think Mahomes flipped a switch. I think during his like downfall, the only thing that kept going through my mind was him showing up to all these big parties, and just acting all cool and doing all his thing. And I think it finally hit a little humility hit him, and then he's like, "All right, that's always been there."
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he got in the face of some of his guys and said, "You got to start catching the ball." But the
Yeah.
Cowboys, man, they still look really good, but they have their holes and the weaknesses. And I think the Chiefs exposed that, just like Denver did.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, there
both of
you
your
go.
teams,
What's that?
aren't you a Denver? Do you like Denver too?
No, I like Drew
That's
Lock
more,
because I'm a Mizzou guy. I'm obviously being a Chiefs fan, it's hard to like Denver. But
yeah.
you know what surprised me is the continued collapse of Josh Allen. He
Oh, I
just does
know,
not look good. Period. Like nothing in his
I
game
know.
right now looks good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't quite know what to take of that or to make of that. But
He's hitting like his sophomore slump a year later.
the junior
You
slump.
know, yeah. But um, yeah, he's a guy that, man, I love watching him play.
Yeah.
Just because he's like, all right, I'm gonna run it, and he'll just truck through some guys.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Tyson and I talked about this a couple weeks ago. I'm not the biggest Lamar Jackson fan. I'll be the first to admit that, just because I
yeah.
don't think his longevity is something I would want to put money into in sports cards.
Hmm.
But I'll give that guy some mad props. Like the guy, he's played out of his mind this year. And I obviously he
Yeah,
didn't play last week, right? Hundley came in and played, but It's interesting. Like you can classify a bucket of 4 or 5 guys that every year will probably do well, and Lamar's starting to make his way into that category with A-Rod and Mahomes and Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the guys you got to
Yeah,
put money in if you're
I
very
know.
serious about it.
I know.
Or do you
Yeah.
buy into those? Like, do you go buy Brady's? Do you go buy Rogers? Is that the type of collector you are?
No. The only Brady rookie I have, I bought a box a long time ago
Mhm.
and finally opened it. And it was one of those, it's tops.
Yeah.
It's that one where he's in the yellow practice jersey.
Okay.
Um, that's the only. Oh no, I mean that's right. Did I say Brady or Rogers? I meant Rogers.
Yeah. Rogers. Okay.
Yeah. I don't have any Brady stuff.
Wow.
I'm just not a football. I don't collect
That's
that
true.
much football stuff.
That's true.
Um, Man, I do have some.
Yeah.
My boys love collecting it. Derrick Henry, Justin Jefferson, a lot of that modern stuff. But
Yeah. Yeah.
and I got my Earl Campbell rookies. Yeah, buddy,
Hey,
Big
I
Bad
dig it.
Earl.
What about on the NBA side? Like, there's the Tom Brady, go and Aaron Rodgers, go buy guys are future Hall of Famers. Like those, it's a
Hmm.
no brainer. In the NBA, who do you gravitate towards? I mean, Doncic, of course, because that's your hometown. But
Oh
future
man.
Hall of Famer LeBron, is that your guy? Who do you like to put money into on the
Oh
NBA side?
no,
I know.
no. I'm not a LeBron guy. If I'm going LeBron, it's only so I
To flip.
can make money to to buy my Doncic. Actually, I at the National, I did a big trade with this guy. I had a LeBron SP Authentic. It's like an auto, like sh- what is it like the court? You sign like
Oh,
part of the court,
okay.
and I got a Luca auto shadow card. Um, and
Sweet.
Yeah, and so that was like my because I know LeBron autos are hard to come by, but I was like, yeah, peace out.
Yeah.
I've got another LeBron auto, so I'm holding on to that one. But this other one, I saw the Luca and I was like, all right, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a Luca guy.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. LeBron's an interesting case study because I feel like if he doesn't win a championship this year, him continuing to play is only hurting his values, I feel like at this point. I don't know. That's maybe a
Yeah,
misread in the situation, but I don't feel like just playing is doing him much good.
no, it's really not. He needed to do the Seinfeld. You end on a high note,
Yeah.
you know. But I know he's waiting for Bronny to get in the NBA because I think he wants to play with him or against him. So I mean, he's gonna be there a few more years, I guess.
Yeah.
But I agree. I mean, it's like the Lakers. I love it. I've never been a Laker fan. Love Magic Johnson, but I love watching them kind of crumble and collapse,
Yeah.
especially when the OKC Thunder keeps putting it to
I
them.
know, right? It's like only the second worst team in the NBA.
Oh yeah,
Keep doing it. What about the suspension? Did you feel like that was warranted?
oh yeah. I think yeah. I mean, it was obvious that he was, you know, coming back with that fish just to hit Isaiah Stewart.
Yeah.
Basketball's a rough sport. I coach a fifth grade team and a seventh grade team, and I tell those boys all the time, if you're going to be soft in there, you're going to get pushed around. You're going to end
Yeah.
up on the floor. You got to be rough. So Isaiah Stewart, I mean, yeah, man, he's just letting those guys know, hey, I may be younger than Lisa LeBron, but I'm going to put it to you.
Yeah. He was a little excessive on like trying to go back through the tunnel and maybe attack somebody, but
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he was bloodied
golly,
pretty good though.
yeah, that was me like in middle school and high school. If I got hit in the head, oh my gosh, it drove me nuts, especially
He
my
didn't strike
nose.
me as that type of guy.
Oh man, I just hate getting hit in the head. So I totally see where he's coming from.
Yeah.
And then if you don't like LeBron,
He was
you
even
know,
sweeter.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. No, I agree. So this was on Sports Card Daily, November 21st, so a few days ago. That card was found in the shoebox, and you know that card well, I'm assuming
yeah,
2008 Topps Chrome Kobe
yeah.
Bryant. That's the gold refractor. Came back as a 10. It sold for $312,000 last weekend. I'm assuming that closet behind you. doesn't have any shoe boxes full of your cards growing up?
No, this is
No.
my wife's mom's house.
Oh, yeah, so there you go.
But
But
but I know that that story right there,
yeah,
it's all over America, probably the world. Shoe boxes and
yeah,
closets. And those are stories that I would love, 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 love to tell, you know. And I know you've come across a lot of that kind of stuff.
yeah,
And I have too.
yeah,
I've stumbled upon friends and family, and then even just random people. I've got a guy, this older gentleman who's been messaging me. He's got 62 and 63 cards, tops,
okay,
baseball, and all he did was send me a list because his phone his has a flip phone. It's so old he can't take photos. So he emailed me these lists, and just looking at his handwriting, you're like, okay, this guy's in his 70 or 80s. And so and on his list was a 62 mantle. I know it was a 63 mantle,
okay.
and then he had some others. And I'm hoping to meet with him. I told the wife, I was like, I've got the cash. I'm gonna make this guy a fair offer for his cards if they're worth it.
Yeah. What's
But
the
to
number you have in mind?
I
What are
don't
you gonna
know.
go in with?
I told him based on eBay comps, it could be as low as $50 if it's like just beat to death, up to like $400 or $500.
Wow, okay.
And he was like, text me back in all caps, "Thanks, Matt!" Exclamation point. Because he said that he and his wife are going through a rough time.
Mm,
So
yeah,
I get that. I mean, man, but yeah, I just want to see him.
100%. No, I made this comment on some of the collection videos that I've done. It's kind of the bittersweet navigating that conversation with people, especially a lot of people that either someone died with the collection,
Hmm.
who's a past relative, or they are just going through a time that they just need the money.
Yeah.
It would be so easy for guys like you and me to take advantage of them,
Hmm.
but that's not who we are, right? And
Hmm.
it's always tough to like, look, here's the reality. I know you need the money, but I want to give you a fair price. So here, I'm going to meet you somewhere in this number. Like that conversation is not easy to have, man. I don't know if you found
Yeah.
that difficult or not, but I definitely have.
Yeah. There's been a couple of collections I looked at. One I didn't get, and I still regret not getting it. And it was 600 cards from 57 to 64, and there was mantles in there and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I regret not getting it, but I didn't get it because the guy had just had a triple bypass. He was in his late 70s and he didn't have a job, and so he said he was selling it to raise money to help pay off
Yeah.
his $300,000 medical bills. And he wanted to sell it to me for this price, but he told me, he's like, if you're not interested, I got another guy in New York that is willing to pay for it. He hasn't even seen the collection, and these cards look really nice. And he basically said, and this is what the guy was going to offer me, sight unseen, and it was like double where my price was. And I told him, I was like, I'm not going to buy your cards. And he's like, why is that? And he was like, I said, because you need this money to pay for this. And not to beat my own chest on it or anything, but man, it's just like, and he told me, he was like, but this money's like, barely nothing compared to the debt that I'm in. And I said, I know, but every little bit helps. And if you can double your money selling this stuff, you need to go
Mm,
do that.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
if I was a crook, I would have been like, yeah, give it to me, and I would have taken it and then flipped all the other stuff and kept the mantles and all the
Well,
other guys. But
crook's a strong word. Like if you didn't know that offer was out there, that was a number that he was okay with, and
yeah,
wasn't unfair. So I feel like maybe you're a little hard on yourself with that.
yeah, probably so. I mean, he told me, because I asked him, I was like, why are you willing to sell this to me for
Yeah.
such a low price? And he said, because I like you. He's like, because we've sat there for 2 hours just
Yeah.
talking. We met in a bank. Like I drove 3 hours to meet this guy to look at his collection. And he said, I just like you. He's like, you look like a good guy and I trust you. And he said, these other guys that have contacted me, he's like, I know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, now, I mean, thinking back, I was like, dang it, I should have lost my own compassion and just taken it because he was giving it to me for that price. But also I feel better about it. He's
Yeah. No,
But
I hear
you
you.
know what? Here's the deal: we still keep in touch.
Right.
And so he says he's going up there the 1st of December. He's going to talk to him, look at it, send me some photos because that may be another opportunity. So it's even in my own video business, it's all relationships.
Mm,
You do a project, maybe you're breaking even on it, but
yeah.
it's like what comes after that. So for me, life is all about relationships.
100%. When I'm buying a collection, I want to leave hoping that that person feels comfortable and I feel comfortable
Hmm.
texting with them weeks later, asking how the collection is. I want them to feel
Yeah.
comfortable with that. I want to be comfortable with them. A lot of these guys I tell like, "Hey, I got a channel and you can watch me talk about your collection." And so you have to really be honest about it. I got a collection that this last week and this was part of the collection. I think
Oh
that
yeah.
card. And
Oh yeah. Beauty.
I'm on the fence with regrading that card right now. I was talking to JT Triple Crown 24 about it yesterday on the conversation. But I told him, I said, "Hey, you can watch the channel anytime. We're talking about your cards and what I'm doing with them."
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're out there, there's no hiding it.
yeah,
Someone's gonna. You never know if you'll come across their path.
yeah, for
Yeah, the
sure.
stuff you've come across, I've been totally enjoying your videos. Oh my gosh. Just
I need better editing skills so you can make it look even better.
we'll move to Texas.
Okay. Yeah, that's makes perfect sense.
That's one more U-Haul you'd have to rent to just for the cards.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough because I want to show everything, but
Hmm.
I mean, just to go through and I want to do it with people. I don't want to like go through it and here's the results. I'm trying to save stuff and actually go through it with you. And I did that the other day
Hmm.
with some cards, and I'm like, I don't even know what to say about some of these because I didn't even research it before. So I don't know what your take is on that, but I think people maybe enjoy that more.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
know.
they do. I mean, I do.
Yeah.
But you need to I'm on Instagram and Twitter a lot, and there's
Yeah.
people selling stuff on there all the time.
Yeah.
And there are people, because I know you showed all those starting lineup stuff. There are people looking for that stuff.
Okay.
So if I probably need to go back and say, hey, hit up this guy. He's got a whole garage full of.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? If you're
Yeah.
if you're not going to hold that stuff and you want to move it, social media,
Yeah. Well, we
they're out
just
there.
we just got approved as an org with Bench Clear to go do some stuff on Whatnot. And so I
Oh,
think
nice.
the three of us can be
Yeah.
saving some of those items to sell on Whatnot to people. So
You know what? Not those guys. I can't remember which one it was. It was at the Dallas Card Show. They were the first ones that bought cards from my sons when my sons were trying to sell their cards to get money.
oh,
And they didn't even think twice. They're like, "Yeah, here, I'll buy it from you." And they took it. And I was just like, "Okay, I'm gonna remember this." So props to those guys. That was awesome.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's very cool.
yeah.
All right. So real quick, I wanted to point out these cards below the Kobe. Some other six-figure sales this past weekend. The exquisite Jordan patch auto, the Bowman refractor BGS 95 went for 312.
Wow.
52 Mantle, of course. PSA 7's at 312, and the 86 Fleer Jordan rookie PSA 10 312. You got $336,000 to spend. Which of those four are you taking? Or I guess throw the Kobe in there too. Which of those five you taking if you got the money?
I'm going mantle.
Go Mantle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, man, Kobe cards just don't. It's weird. As much as that guy's like an icon, a little bit closer at that one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think there's been some recent videos by content creators just about the decline in Kobe prices, and it's been really interesting.
Yeah. Are you throwing that coat? Oh yeah, and then yeah, even the Jordan stuff's coming down. It's crazy.
Yeah, if it's me, I'm 100% taking the Tom Brady if it's a PSA slab, but
Hmm.
that refractor is a tough card to gym.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's his main.
Yeah.
That's the card. So that'd be what I grab.
Yeah, but yeah. I saw something. Where was it? Talking about the vintage again.
Mhm.
I mean, I think everyone's kind of catching that wave. You know, I mean, it is. It's not going anywhere. It's not
No,
going down. Athletes aren't getting injured.
no. So this is a conversation I was having on Twitter actually this morning. So like United States Sports Cards was at a small hotel show in Syracuse this weekend. One guy had a case full of graded mantle cards,
Mm,
80 to 100 in all. And he was just asking, he actually tagged us and said, "Hey, how scarce are mantles in general?" And so I just pulled some quick stats from PSA. Total number of PSA graded cards for these players. Griffey's at 521,000 total graded cards. Doncic already at 231,000 cards graded.
mhm.
Mike Trout 219, Mantle 206 total thousand. That I think is really good perspective because kind of to your
Yeah,
point, I mean, those top three and any others, right? Modern day players, they're still coming out with tens of thousands of cards every year, and people are
yeah,
grading them like crazy. Those
yeah.
mantles, that's going up 1 or 2% a year, and that's declining, right? There's fewer and fewer of those cards available to grade.
Oh yeah.
That's why vintage is such a safer investment.
Mhm.
Would you have expected those numbers?
No, I thought man will be way more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, put 3 more on that because 'cause I've got 3 more coming back. Uh, but you know what? It's the legend. It's the because I mean, even my kids, they hear about Mickey Mantle, and it becomes this legend of, "Oh, I want a Mantle card." Never
Yeah.
watched him play. I never watched him play. All I saw were, like, the rerun little clips, and then I can't remember what channel it was growing up, they'd show the home run derbies, the old
Yeah.
black and white home run derbies between him and Willie Mays or him and whoever. And that stuff was awesome. So, it's the legend of, you know what I mean? And that's where things grow and keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. I've for some reason I feel like the last 3 or 4 months, my shift is completely taking a 180 with
Mhm.
doubling down and putting good money into Hall of Famers and the Tom Brady's of
Yeah.
the world. I don't know if it's just the constant injuries and the drunk driving cases and the abuse cases. I'm tired
Mhm.
of dealing with that. I just am tired of dealing with it. It's just
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah. I get it, man.
Yeah.
And where do you think we're going? Like all this, like even like last night, I had to go to the store. We got in town, and I was at Walmart, and I always check out the card aisle. It was packed. It had Panini Baseball Chronicles,
Mhm.
had NBA Draft Pick Chronicles, had Select Baseball. I mean, it had all kinds of stuff just sitting there. And I know people don't like the unlicensed baseball, but still, I mean, even Topps Archives was there. Topps Series Two, Blaster Box is just. And I remember like a few months ago, even 6 months ago, people would buy all that stuff up.
Yeah.
But now it's just and either people lost interest, all the sneaker guys are back into sneakers. They're
Yeah.
not doing flipping cards anymore, or you know,
Yeah. I think it's the ebb and flow of the hobby for sure. But you can only print so much before people just say, you know what, I got sports card fatigue.
yeah,
I feel like the new guys that I know that really came in the last year, they're just burnt out, right? They went all in, they fought for cards, they did this, they
hmm
grinded to flip cards for a few bucks and sealed wax, and then they held a bunch of sealed wax and they sent stuff to get graded.
hmm
And like that stuff didn't pay off. And like the excitement waned really quickly. Oh, and then you couple that with Panini and Tops are just printing the snot out of products. Like
mm,
it just like I think Luber made a comment on that sports card nonsense interview he had last week, which if you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it.
uh-huh,
Anyone that hasn't checked it out, he gives a lot of great feedback and I don't know tidbits of where he wants to go with things. But he made a comment where he said he wanted sports cards to be everywhere, like in gas stations again, and we can grow this world, the sports car world, by 10x. And he referenced like that's how it worked in the sneaker world.
hmm
And I think the missing piece in all of this is that, and maybe it's just because he just got back into cards again. And he paints himself as this collector, but like in reality, he just got back into cards again a few years ago. This is a hobby that's been around for 100+ years. Like, there's a reason why it's slowly grown, and there's a reason why it hasn't grown 10x, because
Mm-hmm.
10x the people, like my mom doesn't care. Like my friend over here doesn't care. He just doesn't care. And that's okay. I don't like the mentality of like, we just need to keep printing and getting cards out into the masses because that's the way the hobby needs to be. I just don't know if that
Mm-mm.
logic is sound. What are your thoughts on
No,
it?
no. I mean, it'd be interesting to do like to take a poll because there's more people in the hobby.
Mhm.
Like, growing up in the 80s, I remember going to the gas station and having the big, box of hoops. You can just look on the back at the wrapper and try to find the Dave Robinsons and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and then going to the gas station every week just to see if they restocked and what's out there. I mean, that was
Yeah.
always cool and everything, but that was the 80s too. And we know what happened then.
Yeah.
So if they're gonna print like less parallels and make certain cards harder to get, and quit making like multiple one of ones and all this stuff, go for it. That's what I think. But we still got to have those hard to find cards. That's the reason why maybe you're trying to buy pack after pack or box after box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Quit making it so easy to get the safari, the zebra cards and snake cards and all that stuff. You know, it's crazy the numbers of that stuff.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think it's an ebb and flow of the hobby and it'll work itself out, but it is comforting to me to know a lot of these guys that entered, they're not necessarily leaving the hobby. They're doing what we just talked about. They're going back into vintage. They're buying graded vintage stuff that you can't go ripping packs now, right? The
Yeah.
only way to get it is buy it graded or raw and then grade it. And it's squeezing the supply on those pretty
Yeah.
fast. Yeah.
You
I
know,
had a good.
well, I was gonna say, I wonder how many people watching the channel in the last few months would say, "Oh, we're just bench clears, just trying to push an agenda of vintage." Because I'm like, I've been only buying vintage in the last year,
Yeah.
but also there's a mix of modern. But now I'm like at a point where, and I'm thinking, why am I wanting more and more vintage? One is the nostalgia, but two, I'm not I'm not trying to push an agenda on bench clear to do that.
Mm,
It's because it's just cool cards, and then there's also the value of it,
yeah.
because I'm tired. Oh my gosh, I'm exhausted of all the modern stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what about you? I mean, are you trying to push your agenda so or your cards can go up?
You're right. No, no, not at all. No, I mean, you know the stuff I do. It's I would say mostly modern still. Even though I do a lot of vintage now, it's mostly modern.
Hmm.
It's not that I don't like that stuff. It's just I'm tired. I'm tired of it too, just like you.
But here's the deal: the vintage, it's hard to find like cards in good condition,
Yeah.
right? Cards are good centered. The last collection I bought, I had a Willie Mays. It was a 60 Willie Mays, and the centering was beautiful on it. And the corners, were suspect here and there. It came back a PSA 5.5. I mean, I'm totally happy with that. I wish it would have been like a 7 or an 8,
Yeah.
but still, I mean, you go find some 60 Willie Mays, or even some old Manals and Clemente and stuff that are in good condition, and that's the fun of it. That's the hunt, right?
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree. That to me, that's where grading is supposed to be, right? Like not just perfectly cut. Oh my gosh, is there a surface scratch on my prism refractor?
Hmm.
Uh, no, let's go back and find stuff that's been around for 70 years and did it survive? And like, can I get a PSA 3 and celebrate? Like that's the fun of grading to me right now. And
Oh
I
yeah.
completely with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this was meant for Mike, but I thought Mike would be celebrating with the YouTube decision to hide the dislike button or the dislike count. Uh,
Mm.
Mike automatically gets 5 dislikes on every video, and now we do his bench clear, right? You put something out, and like within a minute, there's a dislike, and it's hilarious to me. It's
Yeah.
like, what do we? You just disliking us because you don't like us. That's totally fine, whatever. But Thank you, YouTube,
Well,
for hiding that for my own benefit.
yeah, that's stupid, I think.
It's
I
totally stupid.
You need criticism in your life. I mean, failure is the
Yes.
only way you get better at something. But also, you also have to realize that you can't please everybody. It's part of a lesson in life, and you have to get over that.
Are you
I
getting
think
you getting philosophical on me?
no, I'm getting maybe I'm on the edge of getting political on you with the
Oh boy.
whole we don't like this, so we're gonna get rid of it. That's my mic. That's my mic channeling me right now.
Yeah, exactly. So you sent me a video the other day, last night I think it was, and I'm gonna just show this real quick because this is too good. What the heck is happening here with Kuzma?
You know, I saw a guy post a still frame of this, and he said on Twitter, he said, "For every 25 likes, I'll make his sweater bigger and bigger and bigger." And I thought, "Oh, that's hilarious. He's already made it really big." And I thought maybe it was a small one, and he was just kind of giving him a hard time because it was a pink sweater or something.
Yeah,
And then I saw the video, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's for real. It is that big." But what I love, I mean, Kuzma's a guy that could have a ton of potential, like in his early days, but I think being on the Lakers kind of spoiled him and ruined him.
agreed.
And then he goes to he gets booted off the team because they're probably like, okay, we don't need this guy around. He's
Yeah,
embarrassing to us. But a lot of the guys, like even LeBron, were like giving him a hard time on social
yeah.
media. And he was like, it's cold outside. I think it's hilarious.
I think it's hilarious too, and he. So I always when I buy guys, I always think, okay, what is their ceiling? Where have they been before with their prices? And where are they at now? Because I feel like just like stocks, right? They look at these thresholds and it's hard for them to break back through a threshold after they drop below it. Kuzma's one of those guys where like he came out hot
Hmm.
17, 18, and I feel like his upside is so limited because it's going to be nearly impossible to break back through and like reinvigorate the people that spend a bunch of money on him. Those
Yeah,
guys are just so hard to put money in sports cards.
yeah,
And he doesn't do himself any favors.
yeah.
This the sweaters don't do yourself any favors with the collectors.
Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. No, it
Uh,
doesn't.
what's that?
I said it doesn't, that sweater. But you know
Well,
what? Now I know what I'm gonna do for Halloween next year. If anybody remembers.
exactly. Well, then you got Joakim Noah
Yeah, signing autographs. Appreciate
signing
that, man.
autographs.
Love
Uh,
that.
do
When
you think
he
more players should do that?
Oh,
Does that help the
totally.
hobby?
I think it does.
Yeah,
It just shows that they respect the hobby, and I love that kind of stuff.
yeah,
I know Panini puts a lot of that stuff out there here and there. I wish they'd, put more stuff out there like that where it's just like, hey, we're working for y'all, because there's too much criticism towards them.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
No,
that's cool.
I agree. I wish there was a ton more transparency with that. I wish they would do more signings. I remember. I feel like, gosh, 10 years ago, you would see a lot of that
Hmm.
signing days and you would see the photos like and I feel like that's fallen off quite a bit. And maybe it's the whole, the new world that we live in. It's much tougher to do that, but that excitement
Well,
is gone.
yeah, I think it's a miss. Like, if I'm a rookie and I'm doing because they pay you like $50,000 to sign, 1,000, 10,000 cards, whatever.
Yeah.
I would blast that all over social media and I would even tell Panini, hey, if I'm doing this, I'm putting this on social media because it only builds your own,
Mhm.
people like you in the hobby and stuff. And if you
Yeah.
can get the hobby on your side, makes I mean, I just think it's good PR for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. All right. So a few questions from last week's on the fly. Let's pop these up. Vintage collector, the possibility maybe speaking about Star Company cards. I find these very interesting and undervalued. Jordan Barkley, Elijah Wan Griffey. Started this in both basketball and baseball. People tend to forget that it was done in baseball. Very cool cards and much rarer than the mainstream rookies. Griffey's 98 star is even rarer than the Tiffany. You're a basketball guy. Are you a star guy? Do you know much about him?
Um, I do, but more of baseball.
Oh,
So
What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that? Do you feel like it's one of those like sneaky undervalued products? Is that your take on it?
Um, I don't know. I mean, it seems like the more rare something is, and then if it gets popular, that's how they get their value.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, do you remember those cards growing up?
Mhm. I don't remember them growing up. No, no, I
Oh
don't.
yeah. So, like they had like blue and yellow, red, obviously, because we've seen
Mhm.
like the Jordans everywhere.
Yeah.
But like I have a Jim Abbott star card,
Okay.
you know, whenever he was in the minors. Like it was a really big deal for the minor leagues for baseball.
Hmm.
And I remember going to the card shop when I was little, not little, maybe middle school, and my card guy trying to sell those to me. And I was just like, it's not tops.
Yeah.
You know, it's not Fleer. And now it's like, dang,
Yeah.
I wish I bought those packs.
Yeah. Yeah. I think unfortunately, I think that's the way people still think about that type of era. I mean, there's exceptions. Jordan's the exception for sure, and maybe Griffey a little bit, but
Yeah.
like with those, they have to be graded, 9 plus, 8 plus for them to have significant value. And even then, like the demand is so much lower than the tops. It all it takes is one or two like mainstream personalities to say, I just dropped, tens of thousands of dollars in these star cards, and all of a sudden they'll be like the thing. But
Mhm.
yeah, maybe. I
Mhm.
mean, there's all kinds of obscurities like that in the hobby, though.
Mhm.
Star
Yeah.
cards are not my thing. I'll just say that. That's my response to that.
Yeah. I've got a Larry Bird star card that you know, whatever. I'm not really crazy about it.
And you're a Larry Bird guy, so there you go.
Oh yeah, I
That says
know.
everything you need.
Yeah.
Uh, this is from Topps Vintage 316. Let's see here. Just validating some stuff we talked about. As for security, yep. One question I have is, do you think card prices have finally leveled off in what we see now as the new baseline for card prices? What are your thoughts there?
Oh gosh. Man. We're in a we're in a rocky world right now with cards, especially with the Fanatics thing. Leveling off? I don't know.
Hmm.
Man. If I if I knew that, I wouldn't have like a bunch of cards listed on eBay trying to get my money back out of them or anything, you
Yeah,
know. And
yeah.
but
My thought on that is, I think the gap will continue to widen between the top tier, like no doubt players, and the rest of the pack. I think
mhm,
it'll be back to the era, shoot, 4 or 5 years ago, where you could go prospect, you could go buy guys for pennies on the dollar comparatively, and it could potentially pay off if they struck gold and they, got called up, or they had a great, third-year campaign. I think the smart money is flowing back into Hall of Famers vintage and that stuff, and I don't think those prices are probably close to leveling off, but the rest of the
mhm.
stuff around the edges, I think continues to fall off 10,
Yeah,
20, 30%.
yeah. I mean, you see a post on Twitter, Anthony Volpe, isn't that his name? The Yankees prospect.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this guy's incredible. People run out there and start buying his cards,
Mhm.
you know, and so his stuff kind of goes up.
Yeah.
Then he gets in the big leagues, has a terrible time possibly, and then yeah, it's too social media. I think messes up all that stuff,
Yeah.
leveling out. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. I will say I do feel very comfortable buying premier players at the current prices.
Hmm.
I'm not as concerned as I was back in, May and shoot in March when it was just stupid.
Yeah.
That was dumb. Dumb,
Yeah.
dumb money.
Yeah.
I don't think too much about it now. I feel like there's a lot of really pretty solid prices for things. They've kind of come back to where they were in January, which is we went peak up to January, level for a month, and then shot up in March and April, and then we've kind of leveled back slowly into the January price
Mm.
range. So
You track that stuff a lot?
I do.
Where do you find that info, and how are you looking at it?
Yeah, so I do it. I continue doing it on my own. I know there's platforms that can do that. I do
Mhm.
card hedge a little bit for my own stuff,
Mhm.
and then I just run my own spreadsheets through Terapeak, which you can get for free as an
Mhm.
eBay seller if you have a store.
Mhm.
And so you can be very creative with the way you set up your search strings, like your keywords. You can use like
Yeah.
Boolean operators, which are ands and ors, and you can use a minus sign and subtract things out. So I have a lot of little search strings that I just run monthly
Mm.
and get the data, and I put it in a spreadsheet, and then I throw it in Tableau. That's what I do.
Wow. You need to make a video on that.
Yeah, I should.
All the little ins and outs, and even the abbreviations, or like putting the minus before you put a word, like
Yeah,
minus reprint. That'd be helpful.
we get 10 or 12 people watching that video.
Just like this one.
Right, exactly. They're like, "Matt, man, he's just so calm." So calm and collected. Ballpark road trips. Can you share information on the show in Montana that I was talking about? I will once they come up with information. I will do that. I'll absolutely do that. And I'll tag you. So there you go. There's a few other comments that I'm going to save next week for Mike, but I'll throw this one out there to you too. Did you grab any of these exclusive sets from Target?
Target. No, I got two Fanatics boxes though.
Okay,
They're green. Um, and they probably got me because it's got Luca on the front.
there you go. Such an easy sell.
But I wonder what the difference is. I think the Fanatics had some like Fanatics. I think they said they put some of like their own little Fanatics
Yeah,
shimmer or whatever in there. But I wonder what those green ones, that green box, how it's different.
yeah. I don't know. I should know that, but I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not a complete set buyer. I know, like in the past, these, especially the last couple of years, like it's been a no brainer buy. Like you buy these at 150 and you sell them for 1,000 basically 3 months later.
Hmm.
But I've got so many sets from the mid 90s to early 2000s out there that I'm like, I can't add more to this.
What about we got Black Friday coming up? Would you buy that for somebody if it went on sale for like $100, or like
Um,
like
yeah,
your boy?
I'd buy that for the kids for $100, no doubt. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a good deal.
Black Friday. Yeah, I think maybe once in my life have I bought sports cards on Black Friday.
Oh, really?
The blowout Black Friday deal. Maybe Steel City a few years
Dave
back. Had a good
Dave
deal.
and Adams have been blowing up my email
Yeah.
with Black Friday deals. The only one that I saw, this is funny. The only one I saw on there was it was a Chronicles NBA draft picks this year, and I think the hobby boxes were like 400 something. They're selling
Yeah.
it for like 160. It's like, of course you're gonna put that on sale. Nobody wants it.
Yeah.
You could put it at $50 and no one would still buy it.
Yeah.
That's not a Black Friday deal. That's a we're trying to get rid of this because nobody's buying
It's a thank goodness it's Black Friday so we can disguise this deal.
Right.
I I do think
Yeah.
there'll be a couple good steals for some product. I don't have
Yeah.
anything specifically I'm looking for. Like the steal of the century will still be 2018 update baseball when it was on Black Friday if you buy a case for $400.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like that year though, or the year before, or year after?
It was 2018, late 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
But you didn't know.
no, I
No.
mean I personally had like 30 cases of it already from a big order I placed.
Wow.
And I'd been ripping, and I just got lucky with grading all the Acuñas at the right time and
Hmm.
pulled a Soto black and a Ronald Acuna black and sold them
Wow.
so early.
Yeah.
My greatest regrets. But to that point, there's going to be those products where if you believe in a class, you should go
Hmm.
focus on the Black Friday deals for those specific rookie classes and try to snag the
Hmm.
best products.
Yeah.
I think the steals though, like people underestimate how much like how many deals you can find if you scour eBay on Thursday, on Thanksgiving Day.
Oh,
People
really?
forget that they do a 7-day auction last Thursday, or they do a
Hmm.
5-day auction on Saturday or a 10-day on Monday, and it ends on Thanksgiving night.
Oh,
There's just
yeah.
so many
And
fewer eyes on it. You're gonna get some
yeah.
really good deals. So I would recommend
Yeah.
like set some reminders, watch some items that end tomorrow in a week.
Hmm. Hmm. That's interesting. Yeah, me and my boys are looking for. We watch the Target and Walmart, so we're waiting for, this or that to hit, like
Yeah.
optic basketball, select basketball, and this week we've been waiting for like Target to start dropping their stuff online, and they haven't done it yet. So it's like, are they going to do it tomorrow? Are they going to go Friday and go all in on Friday and just make it a massive deal? Um, yeah, Black Friday, and also my boys are like, let's go shopping on Black Friday. We can get some Jordan 1 retros for like half off. I'm like, no, it's like that's not how it works.
Not how it works.
It's basically, if you go to Walmart, you're not gonna get the Sony TV half off. It's gonna be the no name brand TV half off.
For sure.
You
You're
know?
like, wait, what country was this made?
Yeah.
It's not even China, Taiwan, or Korea. It's like it's a Malaysian TV. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you for sure. Do you use Cardhead much? Like Cardhead at all?
I do a little bit since that video. I mean, I really had to dig into it and figure it out and stuff. But I haven't been. I'm not really one of those guys that track stuff like that. That's why I was
Really?
asking you, how you track stuff and everything. I probably should be, but um, yeah, I just don't devote that much time to it.
I'm gonna
You
share my
know.
screen just because when we were talking, I was pulling up some stuff. So I'm gonna share this so you can see it. So
Okay.
check this out. So this is when I'm buying collections, I'll plug in cards really fast, and I'll even show people this, the sellers.
Mm,
Like I was looking at Doncic, so that's curious. One thing that's so hard is like figuring out the grades, like the prices for all these different grades and companies. And I love being able to like real quickly map like what are the prices for SGC and BGS, like
yeah,
that crazy. BGS
yeah.
10s.
That is a cool feature about them,
Yeah.
because I know a lot of those other guys kind of don't have. They all kind of look the same in the layout and stuff, but that's a cool feature.
Yeah. No, it's very good. How many of these do you own?
None.
None. Oh my gosh.
I refuse to buy one because there's
Oh,
there's tons out there now, and there's about to be 100,000 more once PSA keeps shipping out their grades. It's just not. It's not a.
yep.
It's not magical enough for me. It's not.
Agreed. It's too expensive.
Oh
That's a
yeah,
pretty big risk for a card that's gonna double in pop report. So
yeah,
this is what I do. So I go and I create a collection. I do an average cost and then the expected grade I think I'll get when I grade it, and to see like what my profit and losses would potentially be for all these cards.
yeah,
It's kind of fun. But
yeah. That's a
anyway,
cool feature.
little
So
tangent.
you put in there what you paid for it,
Yeah.
or
So when you,
or
so yeah,
what you
mhm.
would want to get back from it.
Yeah. So if I go owned, I think I can add one. There's a way to add one to my collection somewhere. Maybe here. I don't know. Add to collection. There you go. PSA 10. I paid 5,000. And it adds it to your collection.
Hmm.
So you go back over there, you'll see like what your profit loss was on the Luca, and it'll update in real time.
That's
It's
awesome.
gonna update here soon. It's gonna show like, hey, dude, you paid way too much for it. You lost $1,000 already.
Yeah.
And then a hand comes out of the computer and smacks you in the face and says, "Get your act together."
But it's your wife's hand.
Exactly. Exactly. Nice. All right, my man. Thank you so much for. Gosh, we talked for 50 minutes. Didn't even feel like it.
50.
50.
Oops.
Oopsie. Go spend some time with your family. Have a good time.
I
Have a
know.
great
You too.
Thanksgiving.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving.
All right. See ya.
See ya.